There we go. Predictions are open. If you're in the chat, be sure to place your bets, as you only have 1 minute left upon hearing this message as we get into game number 1. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Radisson Station, we have the Polish Protoss player, the pink Protoss representing the Platinum Heroes. It is ArT. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Blue Zerg player representing CSO Esports, also from the land of Poland. It is Trifax. I just realized something. So earlier today, I'd messaged Eba. I was like, "Hey, you better be in the qualifiers, mate. You're an animal. You better be there," because we very rarely cover these European events. So I was trying to message some players and make sure that they signed up and checked in. And Eba just reminded me, mate, he's not old enough. It's like, oh right. I forgot, Bobby. I forgot. There is an age requirement to actually compete in the EPT, and yeah, unfortunately, Eba can't quite play in the qualifiers for a couple of years. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Smooch. But here we go. ArT gonna be slipping in for a bit of a scout. All right. Also, I should talk about the map a little bit here as we are loading into Radisson Station. Very surprising. This is the most vetoed map in the map pool. We rarely get to see this map, and whenever we do, mate, strap yourselves in, because it's gonna be a 30-minute game. It is a very turtle-friendly map. For those who are maybe unaware, there is a pocket base. There's a pocket base to be taken here on the right-hand side. It's protected by a double wall of minerals and a wall of rocks as well. So there is a lot here that can protect you. Likewise, the fourth base is also very well defended. There are 2 choke points, 2 narrow entryways that can also be well defended if you're in position with stacked defense and also with your main army. So getting up to 4 bases is a pretty easy feat here. From either the Protoss, the Zerg, or even the Terran player. And because of that, we have seen a lot of greedy openers on this map. And I'm surprised to see Trifax not veto this and allow this to make it through. So I wonder, well, my eyes are on Trifax more than anything. Like, how is he going to approach this game? How is he going to approach this map? And how is he going to stop ArT from getting into something crazy like Skytoss? As for now, we have a Stargate opener. To have a Stargate opener for the time being. ArT going to be working on those mineral patches, going to be working on his third base. Again, a very well defended third that won't be denied or punished or even slowed down. Now, we have seen some players go for mutas. We have seen some muta play attempted on this map with mixed success. We casted Cyril against Cure. I mean, that is a different matchup, to be fair, but Cyril, he tried to make mutas work on this map and he just could not. Even with mutas, he couldn't deal any counter damage, and Cure was able to just defend, snowball out of control, and take that game. Likewise, we've seen players attempt to pull apart the the defending player, the Protoss. We casted Wayne versus Dark. Fun fact, a couple of days ago, Dark off-raced. On this map, Dark played Protoss, and Dark defeated Wayne with his it was disgusting. As you can imagine, Dark, he got up to 4 bases, he got up to Skytoss, and he just rolled over Wayne. Wayne was trying to like go for these counterattacks and try to meet him in the late game, but he just could not really touch the economy of Dark and couldn't really slow him down. I think it was a couple of days later, we casted, I want to say, a laser on this map, or maybe another player, and they were going for Dropper-Lords. We were seeing a lot of like Dropper-Lord harass, like drops in towards the pocket base, into the main as well, just to try to disrupt the economy. We've seen a lot of creativity, I should say, from the Zergs when it comes to slowing down Protoss here. We'll see what is brought to the table. As the first Oracle gets across the map, gets 1 drone kill before dipping on out of there. Behind this is going to be a Twilight Council on a Forge. This is looking like standard play out of ArT. He's not really cutting any corners. He's not rushing into a second Stargate or a Fleet Beacon. He's going into what looks to be +1 and Blink. So everything is looking normal so far. Of course, he's able to, reap rewards here of this base, of this third, but nothing too fancy. So this looks like this could even lead into double robo production into Colossi. Meanwhile, back at home, Trifax going to be getting straight into that lair, working towards a Roach Warren. This should be just for Roach speed. And, oh, my mistake. I assumed it would be +1 blink, but no, it's going to be +1 charge. And we're getting into a Templar Archive. So this is looking like a much more aggressive build out of ArT. Okay. Interesting. Again, you can take one of two routes, I guess. You can try to take advantage of this map and macro on up, but no, ArT, he wants to shift gears. And this could also work, right? It's like Trifax, he may make a couple of assumptions, and right now he's focusing on droning, he's teching, he's getting a 4th base, he's taking all of his gases. He may not be really anticipating an attack from ArT. This could catch him off guard. As there it is, there's a Spire. And again, this is something else that we have seen Zerg players experiment with on this map. Spire for Mu to play has potential. Has potential to do damage, to bypass some of the defensive features of this map, and to get damage done. But we're moving out. We have 2 Archons, +1, and Charge is about to finish up, and ArT is gonna hit a pretty strong timing. Now, what do we have to defend? We have a handful of Roaches. Trifax, he's supply blocked! Oh no, this is a bad time to be supply blocked. The Prism is moving across the map, getting ready for that big warp in. 4th base is being taken behind this. +1 is done in 10 seconds. As we do get the warp in of Zealots, the Archons push in towards that natural base. We have a couple of Roaches to defend and some Lings. But drones are falling nonetheless. A bit of awkward movement there out of ArT, but he's going to be able to wedge himself behind the army. Cleans up a lot of those things, and he does take down 10 drones. And just like that, ArT is ahead in the worker count. Oh my god, this entire time he's been chipping away at this base as well. Will he get the hatchery? Not like this. ArT just all over the map, cleaning up some of the creep, focusing down the hatchery, and he will get a kill on this. The queens are coming in though. Can we transfuse? Oof. We barely will. Transfuse does go off, and the Void Ray is forced back. The hatchery survives, and Trifax can now get into his mutas. Oh no! Not like this! Oof. As the Prism does go down, Archons are recalled back home, and the mutas do survive. And now ArT has to react. He has to respond. We have Blink on the way, +2. Phoenixes as well. How many mutas do we have? Only 7. Only 7 mutas. So it looks like Trifax, he's only getting into these mutas to harass, and he's still focusing on a ground army. Still focusing on his Ling Roach Ravager. Of course, he does have to be careful. Doesn't want to throw away the mutas. He may not be committed, but he does still want to utilize them to pick apart the economy and to try to keep ArT contained. Meanwhile, ArT, he clearly knows about the map. He knows what's good. He knows what isn't. +1 air attack is on the way. Fleet Beacon as well. We are getting ready for a Skytoss transition. There is that second Stargate. Also, sorry, did I say Fleet Beacon? Did I not see it? Am I blind? I swear I saw a Fleet Beacon in the production tab, but it's only going to be a second Stargate for the time being. We're only getting into Phoenixes. We're not committing yet. And here we go, Trifax. He has maxed out. Oh, Storm isn't done. Uh-oh. No Storm, no Disruptors, no Colossi. This is going to be a tough hold for ArT. Stasis Trap does get triggered. Trifax, he is up 40 supply. He's looking to collapse in this position, but we have a wall of cannons. Can Trifax really break this? He's going to try. And again, without storms, he can. So here we go, the Baileys, they do roll it in. They do get into the mineral line at the same time. Baileys from the right-hand side, they connect with the Stasis Trap. The cannons are holding, the Immortals as well. Oh, we saved the Immortal with the Phoenixes. Let's go. And ArT does hold. You can see, even being down 40 army supply, he only loses 4 workers, a couple of cannons. And he doesn't lose a single immortal. Trifax is getting ready for the second wave. He's getting ready for round 2. There's that Fleet Beacon. There's that third Stargate as well. Storm is done, but the High Templar did not survive. No High Templar, no Storm. There is potential for Trifax. He could pull this off. He can try again. As we are splitting up our forces. He's up 40 army supply. Looks like a Ravager is going to go down. Now, if ArT defends this, he's going to get away with Sky Toss. He will run away with this game. All he has to do is hold. But it's easier said than done. And here we go once again. Trifax collapsing on in. The Banelings, they roll on forward as well. Overcharge, trying to keep these Archons alive. But we get some big connections of the Stalkers. But the Immortals, they hold strong. Oof. 3 workers go down, some cannons, and some Stalkers. But it is not going to be enough. ArT will hold, and he will get away with carriers. And this is what we were talking about earlier. This is the power of Radisset Station. This 4-base setup is very solid. As we've seen even this game, it's very difficult to break a 4-base setup here from the Protoss. Even though we invested into Storm and we didn't even use it, even with us rushing into Sky Toss, Trifax, he's running out of steam. He takes the gold. He has a good economy, don't get me wrong, but Trifax, he doesn't really have a setup here to deal with carriers. He's still focusing on Lingbane Roach Ravager, and he's being outscaled. He has a Spire for Corruptors, but there's no upgrades. There are going to be 0/0 Corruptors. No Hive for Vipers, no Infestation Pit for Infestors, no Spellcasters, just Lingbane Roach Ravager. And here we go, the carriers, they now reveal themselves. And this is gonna force Trifax to pull the trigger. It's all or nothing at this point.
Our army be scrapping.
With the revelation of the Sky Toss. Meanwhile, at the same time, Zealot run by across the map, crippling the economy. Getting a lot of worker kills, even getting on top of the Queens. And Trifax, he's pulling back. Again, these Zealots doing so much for ArT already. +1 air attack is on the way, but yeah, GG gets called. We won't even have a final fight as ArT takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played, and that that was the power of Radisset Station. Again, I was shocked. I was shocked to see that that it did end up making it through the veto process. I was very interested to see what kind of direction Trifax would take us in, and I didn't mind it. You know, we went into initially Spire play, into Mutas, into those Mutas to try to harass and try to get some breathing room to get into a ground-based push. But I'm not entirely convinced. I'm not entirely convinced by Lingbane Roach Ravager trying to break that 4th base. I mentioned before that we've seen players try to make use of Dropper Lords or even Nidus play, or even Tunneling Claw Roaches to pull apart the defending player, just to try to split up the army. If the Protoss player has to just focus their attention on the 4th base, like it's just a really difficult position to break, and we haven't seen anyone do it yet. We haven't seen a Zerg player break the 4th before Sky Toss yet, at least not on this channel. I'm sure it's happened, I'm sure. Yeah, it's something that I think Zerg players are still figuring out. Regardless, we're getting into game number 2. Which will be taking place on Hardlead. Oh boy. Game number 2, and here on Hardlead, this is where Trifax, he needs to fight back. He needs to put a point on the board to force the ace match. Otherwise, it all ends here. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of hard lead, we have the Polish Protoss player currently leading the series 1-0, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is ArT. And spawning in the bottom, in the top left, we have his opponent. We have the other Polish player, the Polish Zerg player, representing CSO Esports. It is Trifax. Yo, a shout out to Paco Mike in the chat. El Paquito, papi. Que tenga suerte, papi, in your next qualifier. Paco Mike, of course, the best Protoss player in all of Latino America, and I hope to see some Paco Mike in a couple of hours in the Americas qualifier, which will be later on tonight after the European qualifiers. So I do hope to see you. We'll be cheering for you, papi. We'll be cheering for you. As we are getting into game number 2. So far, going to be a hatch first. Hatch gas pool setup here from Trifax. Nothing too crazy. As likewise, ArT is going for a gate expand. Ooh, and now here I do kind of look forward to see what Trifax is able to, or how he's able to open up here. As, oh my god, he does go for a proxy hatch. I missed the drone moving out. I saw the production tab and I was like, wait, where's that third hatchery? Trifax mixing it up here and gonna try to delay the economy of ArT. Again, he doesn't mean to allow this to finish. The goal here is to delay the expansion, is to force lost mining time, is to disrupt the economy of the Protoss player, not to go all in. Getting a lot of DPS done on the base itself. We should be forcing a cancel. We can throw down an Evo chamber after this, just to delay even further. Oof. As the drone is going to be forced away. And ArT will eventually expand. As the Nexus is thrown down. So again, a cheeky move here out of Trifax. The drone will fall. But again, behind this, he's just droning. He's just saturating his bases, getting his gases, his spawning pool, and into a third base. Now, this wasn't just a delayed expansion and lost mining time. This was also a forced zealot. This zealot doesn't really have a lot of value here in the early game, which is why ArT is just sending it across the map just so we can get some damage done, if possible. I love that we're also sending out the Adept, so we're going to try and pull apart the intention here of Trifax. Looking to try and get some damage done. Here we go. As the Zealot is going to chip away at the third base, the Adept moving in as well. We do have plenty of links to deal with said Adept though, and yeah, we shouldn't really be losing any drones back at home. I see the chat catching up about Eva. What do you mean? You said you were fluent. Ah, dzień dobry. Let's go. As ArT is mixing things up quite a bit here. Interesting. So similar to Holy Hits, we have a Robo Opener out of our Protoss player. With this can lead into a Disruptor drop. This could also lead into a third Gateway and a War Prism to harass across the map and to be hyper aggressive. And that's exactly what we're getting. But there's that Prism. Sorry, there's that Bay. The War Prism and the Robotics Bay. So this is a Disruptor drop from ArT. Again, we don't really get to see this too often, but twice in one tournament. Maybe a little bit more or maybe more prevalent on the European server, more so than the Korean one. As the Prism is on the way. Now, ideally, we move out with these Adepts and we try to fake out something like a Glaive Adept Opener and try to force an overreaction out of Trifax. There we go. Roach Warren is on the way at the 4-minute mark. And we should be making some links to defend as the Prism moves out. Yeah, Spore Crawler on the way. This could be a DT opener for all Trifax knows. So he's just trying to get ready for everything. As the Adepts, they do commit to the Shade. 2 workers go down and the Adepts are saved. Good control here out of ArT. Really good pickoffs from our Protoss. As again, behind this, we are getting into Disruptor drops once again. Now, the same thing applies, as we mentioned earlier. Disruptor drops are very high risk, high reward. They need to get damage done. If they don't, it's going to be very difficult for ArT to expand and take a third base. It's going to be difficult for him to really establish his economy behind this and get into the mid game if these disruptors don't get damage done. Or if they don't keep a Trifax busy. We saw Holy Hit excel with his disruptor drop. We'll see if ArT can do the same. As the disruptors are moving out across the map. At the same time, Lings are setting up a counterattack, but we have plenty of adepts back at home. Oh my god, that is 5 adepts in position. These Lings, they won't be able to punish this third. They deny a pylon at least. Meanwhile, across the map, here comes the disruptors. Up! Oh my god! It was a good split on the left, but not on the right. 13 drones go down. Ay, ay, ay. That is already worth it for ArT. Already popping off. Already too much damage. That was 1 Nova, by the way. The disruptors are saved, and we can go for another. We can set up another drop here for even more value, for even more damage. It's not over, Poppy. It's not over. He wants more. And he's gonna get it. 3. No! 10. Initially 3, then another 7. 10 more drones go down. 26 in total. Ay, ay, ay. The Queens come in to intercept. They do come in to intercept, but alas, they are unable to. The disruptors, they want the Queen. And they're gonna get them. ArT. Ay, ay, ay. He may have been on a break. He may have semi-retired and stepped away from the game, but alas, he's back with a vengeance. He's back looking for some bodies, mate. He's oh god. As this has been a disastrous start for Trifax, and as a result, he's still recovering his economy, he's still joining up, he's taking bases, yes, but ArT is snowballing out of control. His disruptors are still alive, by the way. They're going to be able to be even more impactful in this fight. As more Novas go off, more drones go down, another 10 workers. And it looks like with this push, this hatchery will fall as well. Now, at the same time, we do have a link counterattack. Hey, we get 8 probes. Pretty good. Pretty good counter damage. Trifax is not going to take this lying down. He's looking to stand up. He's looking to fight back. He does get a shield battery as well. Decent value out of these Lings. He's keeping the attention of ArT across the map, and he recalls back home. No! He wants the Ravagers, and he's going to get them. 3 more Ravagers. Ay, ay, ay. Whenever Trifax fights back, ArT, he still comes back even harder. And now we're building up Colossi. We have Colossi on the way. We already have some Immortals, Sentries, decent ground army. Blink is done. Charge is on the way as well. We are lacking upgrades. The Forge is still on the way, so we do have some 0-0 units. But I don't think ArT is too concerned about that. As ArT is just going to be, floating around these bases. Bailing Runby tries to waddle in, but alas, ArT is in position. The Novas. Once again popping off, just getting a couple of roaches here and there, just whatever value they can get. I mean, they've already done more than enough. Look at the resources lost. It's crazy. 30 drones over the course of this game. 30 workers, roaches, ravagers, queens, lings, a base as well. For 9 probes. The efficiency from ArT is disgusting. It's actually, oh god. It's crazy, Papi. It's crazy. And at this point, Trifax is going to be forced into essentially an all-in. He has to commit. He has to double down. Hope for one big engagement. Hope for ArT to overextend. We have seen that before. We saw that against Holy Hits, where Holy Hit maybe pushed a little bit too far out and was punished for it. And that's what Trifax has to hope for. You know, it isn't hopeless yet. If ArT moves down onto creep, if he gets surrounded, Trifax, he has potential to swallow up this army and to snowball out of control. It's just everything has to go well. The stars need to align for Trifax. Everything needs to be perfect. I want to believe. Meanwhile, back at home, ArT, he's focusing on his 4th base. Now, if ArT were to secure himself here in this game, what I would expect to see, as he is in the middle of moving out, is to throw down like Stargates and a Fleet Beacon and start working towards Sky Toss. But we don't see that. We don't see that. Oh my god. Calm down, Papi. Stop. More Bailings go down. But Trifax is maxed out. And again, his hope here is for ArT to push onto creep. Getting ready for a run by. Spreading out his forces. A 360 surround is what Trifax is hoping for. Oh my god, as the Novas, they keep going off and they get even more value here. More Banelings going down, and here we go, Trifax, he pulls the trigger. He's coming in from every single angle. Is it going to be enough? Going to get on top of the Colossus? The force fields are too good. Oh my, the force fields, Papi. They hold the line. The juggling is good as well, and ArT demolishes this army. He pushes on forward, keeps all of his high-tech units alive. The Colossus, the Immortals, the Disruptors. Ay. And Trifax has to back off and remax, rebuild once again. Now, we did lose a lot of the Gateway army. We can see here in the units lost, we didn't lose any Robo units, but we lost all the Stalkers, the Sentries. So we do have to take a moment here to rebuild the Disruptor. They want more, Papi. No. Leave Trifax alone. Ay. The Storms are thrown down as well. Storm is done for the Protoss. Big Storms here on the Ling Bane. It looks like Trifax, he may be able to break this 5th base. It looks like with these Biles, with these Ravagers, he does cancel the 5th. He does shut it down. But alas, that is merely going to trigger a counterattack from ArT. The Disruptors, they're finally going to go down. 1 Disruptor falls, and GG gets called. ArT will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to ArT for taking the series 2-0. He didn't lose a single Robo unit until the very end, where he lost 1 Disruptor, and at least Trifax got that before tapping out. These Disruptor drop openers, as we mentioned before, they're very high risk, high reward, but mate, the reward, it's it's crazy. The efficiency of ArT was out of this world. My heart goes out to Trifax. He played well. He fought well. He fought hard in this qualifier, making it this far. But alas, his run does end here, and I look forward to seeing more of Trifax in the coming days, as there is a second open qualifier. There's a second qualifier tomorrow, so even though Trifax may not make it out today, he has another chance in 24 hours. And we'll be there. We'll be there to cast. I don't know if we'll follow Trifax. He's definitely a player that I have my eye on, and I want to support, and I want to follow, and I got a lot of love for Trifax, so I'll do my best. But there may be some other players that we may want to kind of turn our attention to as well. We want to try and spread the love and cover as many players as possible. So we'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Regardless, GG, well played. Congratulations to ArT, as he does advance on into a qualifying match. GG, well played. And we need to take this moment to go over the bracket itself and figure out what the hell is going on. As I assumed that this would lead into a Poland versus Poland matchup. I assumed that Rodzin would advance on to a qualifying match, but let us find it. Yep, there we go. It's going to be a PvP. And I need to message some players.